But strangely, at this moment, I am actually feeling quite relaxed.
Hey.
Welcome to Working Title, the show where we talk about books, movies, and everything in between. So, I watched Bridgerton. Another case of there's hype around a show and I want to know why for myself, so here we are. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you. As much as I'm a sucker for a love story, romance as a genre I try to avoid. Plus, with all the hype around this show, and I had my aunt tell me how good it is and recommend I watch it, and for some reason, whenever someone recommends things to me, for me to watch, my brain is immediately like, well, guess we're not watching that ever. Actually, now that I typed this out, I don't think my aunt knows I'm doing this episode. So this will be a fun surprise for her. Hi. Now, this isn't going to be like my usual episodes where I give a full in-depth review. I'm just going to give a little bit of history of the series. I'll lightly touch on the books as well as my experience watching the show. Also, to talk about the elephant in the room, the show and the books it's adapted from have had criticism of queerbaiting as well as some racial issues. I'm not qualified to talk about those issues. However, there are great videos on YouTube that talk about these, so if you're interested, I'll leave links in the description. Let's talk about what Bridgerton is. Bridgerton, as we will be discussing, is a Netflix original series based on a series of books written by Julia Quinn and released during the early 2000s, with the final book titled The Bridgertons coming out in 2013. Currently, the show only has 2 seasons, respectively based off the first 2 books in the series. Season 1, based on The Duke and I, follows Daphne Bridgerton during her first England courting season, which apparently were real things at the time, and pretty much did follow the same procedures as in the show. You learn something new every day. Throughout the season, Daphne has an interesting romance with Duke Simon, eventually ending in marriage and a child. Because this is a romance, what else would you expect? Now, Season 1, personally, I like it. I like it more than Season 2, but I don't get why so many people were obsessed with it when it initially came out. Especially on sites like TikTok, where Regency-inspired outfits and such were exploding in popularity. You couldn't turn a corner without hearing about Bridgerton. Then again, it was released during quarantine, so you shouldn't have been turning corners in the first place. So, I want to ask you, my audience, why did this show blow up like it did? It can't simply be because of quarantine, and we're all desperate for things to watch. A bunch of shows came out around the same time, so why was this one so special? Is there really something I'm missing? From my perspective, this is your regular run-of-the-mill Regency romance. I'm willing to admit my bias. Romance really isn't my genre, but I really want an explanation as to why this blew up. Anyway, let's talk about Season 2. I have a bit more to say about that. Season 2 was okay for what it is. I personally like Season 1 more, but the more I think about it, I think that comes down to frustration. There were a few moments where I was yelling at the screen, "Kiss already!" It
is that time of year again. The trees got no leaves, and like a refrigerated apple, the air is crisp and cool. Except for here in Florida. But, I'm sure that it's nice in other places. I'm not jealous, I'm chill. Except I'm not. Florida!
Is about how I felt, especially in the last half of the season. My sister can attest to this. When Anthony and Kate kissed for the first time, I yelled, "Finally!" I actually really liked their love confessions in the last episode, where they actually said, "I love you." And in all honesty, there was a lot of really funny moments in this season. Maybe almost more than the first season, but no. Honestly, again, I like Season 2 for what it was. Edwina, I think, was fun. When I watched her, get upset after finding out that Anthony and Kate were in love with each other, and they were essentially lying to her about it, while watching it, I thought she was kind of being a little over dramatic, but in retrospect, that seems like a reasonable reaction. You find out not only is your sister in love with your boyfriend, but she's also been lying to you about it, and the fact that Kate herself hadn't come to terms with it just made the whole situation worse. So, while in the moment I got annoyed with her for reacting the way she did, in hindsight, I do think that probably would have been anyone's reaction if put into that situation. It appears that's all I have to say about Bridgerton. Also, I wasn't really sure where else to mention this, but the books have like a whole universe, including prequels and novels in the same universe. Half the books that Julia Quinn has written are in the Bridgerton universe. Move over, Marvel. Julia Quinn is coming for your throne of connected universe. This also means the show could go on forever, but we'll see what the future holds. Will I discuss season 3 when it comes out? Probably. But until then, you can check out the Working Title subreddit, the official place to get updates, request episodes, and all of that fun stuff. You can also follow me on Reddit at ashleymariewt. If you don't have Reddit, you can email me at ashleymariewt@gmail.com. And if you're listening to this on Anchor, feel free to send me a voice message. And until next time, peace out.
On to the next one!